Today I wanted to talk a little bit about word order. As you know, it's very important in a sentence that your verb comes second. And so far, we have begun most of our sentences with the subject and gone subject verb. But I wanted to show you what happens when we don't start with our subject, but yet we still have our verb in the second position. So we're going to take a look at a story called Was macht Dieter am Wochenende? Was macht Dieter am Wochenende? And we are going to answer that question. What is Dieter doing on the weekend? Here, this is a question with a question word, so we start with our question word and our verb comes second. Was macht Dieter am Wochenende? Let's take a look and see what Dieter does on his weekend. All right, these are the times we're going to look at. We are going to start with our time phrase in each one of these scenarios. And our verb is going to go second. And here is the word bank of the verbs that we're going to use. Some of these are separable prefix verbs, like to call and to get up. Some of these are irregular in the third person, the he form, like to run, to read, and to sleep. And then to play is a completely normal verb. So let's take a look at how these different types of verbs work in a sentence when we don't start with our subject. So, was macht Dieter 7:05? Was macht Dieter 7:05? We're going to answer this by starting with our time phrase. 7:05. At 7:05, Dieter is sleeping. See how we did that in English? Let's take a look and see what it looks like in German. 7:05 schläft Dieter. Our verb is in the second position. Now in English, it's not that way. In English, we would say at 7:05, Dieter is sleeping. But in German, that verb has to be in the second position. And Dieter is the subject of this sentence, so it's way back here. So 7:05 schläft Dieter. This is one element that cannot be broken up, so that goes together as kind of a chunk. And then the verb has to be the second chunk. So was macht Dieter 7:05? 7:05 schläft Dieter. Was macht Dieter 7:20? Which of these verbs would be what he is doing right now? He's getting up out of bed, to get up. To get up is a separable prefix verb, so we're going to have to split it, flip it, and conjugate it. So the verb is aufstehen, and we're going to split it between auf and stehen. And we have to make sure the stehen part is in the second position. So was macht Dieter 7:20? 7:20 steht Dieter auf. So start with our time element, put our verb in the second position, and don't forget the back half of the verb at the very end. 7:20 steht Dieter auf. Verb second. Was macht Dieter von 7:45 bis 8:30? What is Dieter doing between 7:45 and 8:30? Was macht Dieter von 7:45 bis 8:30? He's running. Laufen, läuft. This is a verb that's irregular in the he, she, it form and the do form. So we're going to start with this very long prepositional phrase. That's going to be chunk 1, and chunk 2 is going to be our verb. Von 7:45 bis 8:30 läuft Dieter. The verb is in the second position because this is a prepositional phrase that cannot be broken up. So this whole thing functions as chunk 1. Was macht Dieter 9:30? Was macht Dieter 9:30? What is he doing from this list at 9:30? He's reading. Reading is an irregular verb. Lesen, liest. Lesen, liest. So we're going to start with our time element again. 9:30 liest Dieter die Zeitung. He's reading the newspaper. Was macht Dieter 11:20 He's calling. This is another separable prefix verb, anrufen. We're going to split it, flip it, and conjugate it. We're going to start with our time element. 11:20 ruft Dieter an. We split the verb, we flip the verb, and we put the verb in the second position. Was macht Dieter 15 Uhr? That's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The only verb that's left is to play, and luckily to play is completely normal. So we're going to say 15 Uhr spielt Dieter Fußball. So the verb is in the second position after the prepositional time phrase. So you don't always have to start with your subject, but you always have to have your verb in the second position.